Look at those. Oh, they're so cool. Our next guests are military enthusiasts, but they don't dress up in Civil War garb and run around in somebody's field. No, they build tanks. From the Bay Area Tankers Group, Fred Doran and Jerry Carducci, we welcome you both to the Screensavers. Let's start with Fred. Fred does 1/16th model tanks, right? And these are electric. Right. Okay, we're going to see a larger scale tank in gas in just a second with Jerry. But let's take a look at these, starting with this one. This looks very familiar. If anybody saw Band of Brothers or Saving Private Ryan, this is a classic Tiger tank, right?
Correct, Tiger 1.
Tell me about this.
I think Tiger 1 at its height weighed 54 tons until the King Tiger came in, which was heavier. That was the heaviest thing to hit the battlefield.
And this is armor plate up front here. How thick was that?
100. I think it was 100 millimeters.
100 millimeters thick. And that was what really was made it a deadly tank.
Exactly, because nothing could penetrate it that we had.
Now, this is a model that, now, is this a kit?
Yes.
Okay, so you could buy this, all the pieces, and just, like you do an airplane with glue?
Yeah, glue, nuts and bolts, little screws and nuts. And
plastic up top, metal down here?
Correct.
Metal below?
Right.
And that's because it actually works?
Yes, it's a runner.
Yeah, a runner, is that what you call it?
That's what I call it.
Okay. And you use a remote control device like this to run it. And what do you do with it? You just run around?
Just go out there and drive it around, run over things.
Shoot things?
No, nothing shoots.
Nothing shoots in your club. Why not?
That's first order of business in the club. Nothing shoots. Reason being, the weakest link in these things is the radio. If this goes bad or if the receiver goes bad, it has a tendency to remember its last command.
Which could be shoot.
Which could be shoot. And it's
not good.
You got this model tank out there running around shooting things, people start diving behind stuff.
Very bad. So, yeah. There are clubs, I know, that make shooting tanks, but I think you're wise not to do that. This is more about the historical authenticity.
Correct.
And, I mean, if you look at the detail in these, it's incredible. Tell me about this tank here.
This is an M40 gun motor carriage. Came in right towards the end of World War II. It's a 155 millimeter self-propelled howitzer.
Look, if you didn't know this was scale, if you shoot it as we're shooting it with maybe a little person next to it, this looks like the real thing. Look at this. And this is a big gun on this side.
Yeah, 155 millimeter.
Wow. You used in both of these were World War II vintage tanks.
This was World War II. This was right at the end of World War II, and then all through Korea.
All through Korea. Right. This is kind of an interesting one, and I know you won an award for this. Tell me about the
this
M32.
Is the M32 armored recovery vehicle. It's like a tow truck for tanks.
You can see here this is the little. Would it hook up to this or?
Yeah, they hook it up. The boom swings forward, and that was their crane, their lifting device, what they used on it to if they had to pull an engine out of a tank or lift up something else.
Now this is not a model.
Well, it started out. It started
as a kit.
Started as a kit, and then I took it from there up and.
This is a 1/16th size. The original kit was 1/35.
1/35.
So you had to take all the parts and enlarge them.
Everything that I wanted to do to build this one, take it out of that kit, measure it, calculator, build it.
How build it? What, carve it with?
Carve it. The boom here is made out of brass tube.
Yeah.
Amazing. The other the storage boxes, they're all out of sheet plastic.
Fred, are you married?
Yeah.
What does your wife think of all this?
She's very understanding.
She must be. Yeah. You spend a lot of time doing this?
Yeah. Yeah. Generally, every evening I'm out there doing something unless it's too cold.
Wow. Well, you're retired, so you have some time to do this.
Oh, yeah.
Former California Highway Patrol officer. That's great. 20 years in the service? 30. That's great. And did you start doing this while you were in the CHP?
Right.
Yeah. What did the guys in the CHP think?
Some of them kind of looked at me and scratched their heads, you know.
Oh, that Jerry. Yeah. I mean, he's your friend. He's just kind of.
Then we had guys that, rode dirt bikes for
That's
fun
true.
games, you know.
That's true. How many hours do you put into something like that?
All depends on which one I'm doing. Like the Pershing, when I did it, this is straight out of the box.
This is a kit also.
Yep. It's
How much does a kit like that cost?
This particular one was $600.
$600.
Just the kit. We haven't got the radio, the batteries in it, or anything like that.
Oh, you have to buy the radio separately and all that stuff?
Yeah, 4-channel radio.
So how much all told?
You're looking probably at $1,000.
And this one, the kit was, the Tiger tank was $1,100.
The Tiger tank, just the kit was $1,100.
Wow. This one you won an award at the
Tamiya Con in Aliso Viejo.
Tamiya is the company that makes these kits.
Correct.
Japanese company, and they do many kinds of models, I know.
Oh, yeah, they do. Their big thing is the radio-controlled cars.
This one is interesting because you can play laser tag with it, right?
Right. I don't have the hookup for that.
But people do.
Oh, yeah.
So one of the things you would do is you make them, you show them. Mm-hmm. You might run around in a field with them, too?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Do you stage battles with them?
Yeah. Some of the guys in our club, they have the battle units that it's called. and the battle unit and its electronics plug in up through the commander's hatch.
Let's look inside this one. This last tank is a Sherman tank. You might have seen this up against the Tiger tank, and frankly, it didn't do quite so well as some would have hoped.
Yeah.
And this is the guts of it. So these are electric?
The electronics. It has 2 electric motors, one driving each track. This is the turret rotation.
Cool.
These are the electric switches to
the
make
detail
different things
is
work.
amazing. Just amazing. We're going to play with the Pershing a little bit later on.
Sure.
Okay? I'm going to move on. Thank you, Fred.
You're welcome.
Jerry Carducci is also here. He does something a little different. For one thing, I can tell they're bigger, right?
Yeah, a little bigger.
And you build these all from scratch?
Yes. This one is completely scratch except the track.
What's the scale on these?
1/10.
1/10 scale. Metal?
Yes.
Are all of your tanks metal?
Yes, actually they are.
Yeah. So you would just run right over one of Fred's tanks?
Yeah,
You just
in deference to Fred.
You don't
Fred,
do that,
I
do
don't
you?
that.
You guys are in the club together, right?
Yes.
What is the club all about? Is it just comparing notes?
It's
or?
really to promote the hobby of modeling military vehicles, camaraderie, and just to work with each other to make them better, more realistic.
What's mind-blowing is the amount. Now, by the way, we should say this isn't painted yet. You're going to paint this eventually.
Right. Yeah, this is a work in progress.
And you'll either use the Panzer gray over there from the M1 tank, or what is that, sand yellow?
The sand yellow, yeah.
That underneath there, that's the camouflage units they use in the desert campaigns.
They actually use it all over Europe.
Oh, they did?
as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. These are just remarkable. How do you build something like this?
Well, I do the same thing that Fred does. I gather information. It's sparse at times, depending on the machine. You collect.
People document it. This is a German document from 1995. This guy actually took measurements of the real tank.
Yep. Some people will spend quite a long time in a museum measuring everything.
And this book.
The book covers some of the machines at the Saumur Museum in France.
This is actually a running machine.
They have the only running Tiger that I'm aware of.
Wow.
In the world.
So do you get the original German plans? How do you know what this is?
Some of these actually were copies of the original blueprints that they use on one form of the Tiger.
Unbelievable. That's amazing.
And I use these as a guide for making the patterns, actually.
And how do you make the metal, then?
Some of it I machine. Some of it is actually sand cast aluminum.
So you lathe this and then make a cast?
Yes, I use this as a pattern in sand to make the actual casting. You'll see it on the front of that machine.
Show me the part that this goes to.
This is this part in aluminum.
All right, look at that. So you first lathe it in wood, then you make a sand mold, and then you cast it in aluminum.
Yes.
How hot does that have to be?
It's around 1,200 degrees.
So you have a little, what do you have, a little still in the back there?
Yeah, a little.
I guess they don't call it a still, do they?
Metal barbecue. Yeah.
Metal barbecue, a forge.
Yep.
That's very cool. Let's take a look at the inside. These are gas models.
Yes.
So these are more like a traditional gas engine.
Yes.
In fact, how many cylinders is this?
This is a single cylinder, two-stroke Weber 40 sized engine.
Runs off regular gasoline. There's the gasoline. You even have a clutch, though. I mean, look at this. There's a transmission.
A centrifugal clutch to isolate the engine from the transmission. The transmission is a 3-speed.
And then why 3-speed? Was that how the German tanks were?
No, they had, I think, 6-speed transmissions in forward and reverse.
But you want to be able to go faster?
Yeah, depending on the where it's being run. If it's out on an open field, you want to get across the field a little faster.
Speed isn't the essence here. No. You don't have tank races, do you?
No, power. Power is the key item.
What do you mean power?
I'll be able to go up a grade.
So these things, when you kind of go out in the field there, you're really seeing how they can go over rough terrain?
Yes. Yeah, this one basically replicates the original suspension almost exactly.
Let's look at this big one down here. Tell me about this one. What is that?
That is a post-war Japanese Type 61.
I mean, these things look as real as can be. I mean, is the goal absolute authenticity?
Yes. This one will need. This one is pretty much as it was delivered. There's a lot of things that I could do to improve the scale effect on this.
So this is a kit then. This is not.
This was originally just built. They didn't sell this as a kit.
Hey, we're going to take a break. When we come back, let's see these tanks in action. You guys, can we have a little tank action on the ground here?
Definitely.
All right, we got a gas tank, we got an electric tank. Fred Dorn and Jerry Carducci. More with the Bay Area tankers as we continue after the break. Stay right here.